Well, let's go back to all matters relating to the ANC's 55th National Conference. It is the eve of that event, and it traditionally kicks off with a gala dinner. This year's gathering exceeding its target of 300 guests, with the most expensive table offering seating with the ANC president at a cost of 1.2 million rand. It's taking place at the Johannesburg Expo Centre in Nasrec here in Johannesburg. And SABC's political editor, Mzwandile Mbeje, is there and joins me now. It's a big night tonight, Mzwandile, and an important fundraising gathering. I want to know who you've been seeing so far.
Well, it's a big night indeed for what they call themselves the black, green and gold. And of course you'll see the chairperson of the ANC here in Gauteng that will be speaking to Panyaza Lesuf, and of course he also in government is the premier of this province. Mr. Lesuf, we have seen you've been here for quite some time, and then we do see that there are people who will be sitting next to you. So how much do you cost?
Not that much, but thank you so much for hosting us. It's a very important economic spin-off for the province. We are quite excited as a province that we're hosting the ANC conference. I mean, to have more than 4,000 delegates and an estimate of over 15,000 people that will descend here and come to our province. It's a major economic spin-off. So we're persuading everyone to leave their last dollars in our province, because that will create opportunities and will broaden our tax base as well.
Well, you are here. Last night you spoke at the PGC, and of course you were very frank about the challenges facing the ANC. Tomorrow you start with that work of trying to renew the ANC. Is there any chance that you'll be able to turn the situation around, given the picture you yourself painted yesterday of deep divisions?
We remain hopeful. The ANC has gone through these difficulties before. It's not for the first time. When before the ANC was banned, when the ANC was exiled, when we came back here, we've gone through many harms. It's the ability and the talent and the skill on how best do we sharpen our differences and ensure that we come with an agile, strong ANC that can meet the expectations of our people. But we're capable. I think we'll do that.
So, what do you say to criticism that generally black business feel a bit let down by the ANC, perhaps by this current administration, and that is why you've not been getting a lot of money and also having staff not being paid?
There's no single person that is not a beneficiary of our policies. No single person. From the person from where we come from and where we are, all our policies have made major impact to all South Africans, including residential, business opportunities, job, and many other things. What we need to do is to say where there are limitations, let's find a platform to raise those limitations. But the blanket statement that we've not done anything for black business might be limited, because every policy we have in terms of business, it's tilted towards empowerment of black business.
So why do you think as the ANC you're struggling? I mean, you and I were speaking earlier off camera. You were basically saying you've been monitoring how the by-elections have been going, and you are concerned because you are declining everywhere. You've just said now every policy you've put in place has benefited just about everyone. But those people who are benefiting are deserting you. What is it that you are doing wrong?
Well, that's why we are here for the next 4 days, to pinpoint that, to take stock of that, to say with the work that we have done as this movement, with the policies that we have introduced in this country, with all the ideas that we have as this political party, why are we no longer attracting the numbers that we are attracting? And it will be disingenuous from my side to think that I can pinpoint that alone. So you need the collective ideas and thoughts of fellow delegates, and we'll descend here for the next 4 days. We'll go into hard labor for us to come with ideas that will assist the African National Congress to come out of that situation.
Will President Ramaphosa be re-elected?
Well, we don't want to enter that space before we enter the area. But where we are, we really believe that the ANC is capable of electing leaders, and those particular leaders can be any other person, including President Cyril Ramaphosa.
Yesterday you said on the position of Deputy President you are very resolute. Gauteng members should elect Paul Mashatile. You are not so committal on the President.
We remain committed to that. We have got a resolution of our PEC on that particular matter to elect Comrade President Ramaphosa, and for the Deputy President to elect Comrade Paul Mashatile, for the National Chairperson to elect the Chairperson of Limpopo, for the Deputy Secretary General to elect Nomvola Mokonyane. It has not changed. I articulated that even yesterday at the PGC. Maybe your camera was off. I openly and clearly articulated that because that's the position of the PEC of the ANC in Gauteng, and it can't change now.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Well, there is the chairperson of the ANC in Gauteng. So yesterday, or rather last night, when he was speaking to delegates, he was very frank about the challenges facing the organization. And of course, he has made it clear that even if they are being lobbied, so they should not change their position around the Deputy President, that is Paul Mashatile.
Yeah.
But of course, we've heard him on the camera, on the President as well.
Well, Mzwandile, look, we can't let you go because everyone is dying to know, well, who is there? These tickets do not come cheap. Who have you been seeing?
You know, it's quite strange given that this event is sold out. I mean, it's 7 now. It's supposed to have started at 7, but the hall is still half empty. So there is still not a lot of people. In fact, the priced table that everyone is interested in is still completely empty. So we are really wanting to see who are some of these people. In fact, we're even complaining earlier that a number of even government ministers were not here, but I've seen now someone like Nzimande who has just joined, and then he's part of the event now. I will just try Iman and see if I can be able to speak to Mr. Mandashe. In the past few days he's been in the news because of the role he's been playing marshalling forces in terms of voting for the rejection of the report, which had said to the president he has a case to answer. So and he's trying to avoid me. Please. Yes. And of course, I'm going to try because I see even the defense minister is there. We're just going to try. We're just getting our logistics quite fine. Obviously, these are the people who need to answer some of the questions relating to what is happening in the country. Yes, we may be here for the ANC, but of course, they govern us, and I think that's why we are very interested. Hi, Minister, how are you? Sorry to just come when you were not waiting for me. Yeah. Just a quick one. Are you ready for this event? And I know that the Women's League has nominated you for the position of Deputy President. So how have the negotiations been going around that space?
I am one of those old-fashioned ANC members.
Yes.
I still believe that the members have the right. I don't negotiate. If the ANC delegates want to nominate and vote, I can promise them that I will do my darndest.
Okay.
So I'm always ready to be.
Always ready. In fact, still on the ANC matters, just recently you were the speaker. In fact, I was thinking when I was in Parliament saying you would have been the one in that sport, perhaps marshalling forces. So now you are an MP, you are the minister, and some of your comrades, senior, decided not to vote according to what the party had said. So what's your view on that?
I think that there is a time when you have to look deep into yourself. I've always been a member of the ANC. If Batilam is that both my parents were members. And even when I went to exile, they told me where to go. I've never regretted my membership of the ANC. I think that the ANC needs to look very carefully at the examples we set. 1, internal discipline in the party. 2, the ability to look at standards, at behavior, at values, but also to be fair. I will tell you that I personally voted no against that report because I believed that you couldn't have started and said and set up all those facts that the judge sets off and then arrive at now there is a prima facie. And therefore those were the reasons why I say the conclusion is not logical.
Yeah, but I get you. I mean, your vote was not an issue. I'm talking about some of your colleagues. You are senior. Your colleagues, Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma, for example, Supra Mahumapelo, they voted with the opposition.
To me, so
No, I'm mentioning your comrades who Supra, you come from the same province. You probably may have been interacting quite a lot as well.
We've not been interacting quite a lot. We are just human beings, Supra and I.
Oh, really?
Yes.
But you are comrades?
We're just human beings.
So, as a senior, do you perhaps speak to him because he would make statements?
I need to speak to him. I do speak to him, but if you ask me whether I would go to him and say, explain yourself, no, I wouldn't. I think people, when they get to where they become to represent parties, are senior enough to have considered the actions they are taking, to have considered the repercussions, but also to be able to explain themselves away. And therefore, my answer is, I'm not going to judge those comrades. It is up to the organization to take whatever decisions, conclusions, and I think the comrades will be able to stand up and explain themselves there.
But are you disappointed?
I don't want to use that word.
Okay. What's the
You
substitute?
know that I take my stance because I consider my actions very well. I definitely wanted to vote no against that report. I believe that it was premature. I don't believe that they should have reached that conclusion, and that is why I voted the way I voted. That the coincidence is that most of the members of the NEC and the ANC agreed with my own personal thought. I'm very happy about.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Well, that is the defense minister in her capacity as a minister of state, but of course the very senior member of the ANC. In fact, I see Dr. Nzimande here. Sorry about that. I'm just ambushing you. I see you look very happy. Are you comfortable? Are you happy about the process and the proceedings going forward, particularly about tomorrow?
Yes, no, I'm very happy and I'm very comfortable. There was an NEC meeting today which discussed the final preparations for the conference to start tomorrow. I'm very confident and I'm very much looking forward to participating in the conference itself.
You, as the ANC and the NEC, have been branded as the weakest, I think, by some of your colleagues who said this is the weakest NEC. And then we saw a few days ago some of you senior members voting against the party line. And then there's been so many other things that people have been saying, well, they need decisive leadership. And of course, well, Andrew De Ruyter has gone now, but it's been around for some time and load shedding has increased.
Yeah, well, people have got their own views that we are possibly the weakest NEC. Well, maybe there's an element of truth in that insofar as we are divided as an organization. We must just face that. As we go to this conference, we still hope that we will be able to try to emerge a more united organization, facing and dealing with the priority challenges that are facing us, including the one we are talking about, about ESCOM. ESCOM is really our single biggest headache at this point in time. But I am quite confident, that with focus, we can actually be able to turn around the situation. You're also talking about people who voted against the party line. That must be strongly condemned. You never do that under any circumstances. Because if you allow that to happen, you will have no organization, I mean, many of us, in fact, usually, scientifically it's said, you are lucky if you belong to an organization and you agree with it more than 70% of the time. Usually 30% of the decisions of any organization you belong to, you either opposed to or you're not quite unhappy, we are not quite happy about. And the solution is not to turn against the organization as it happened in Parliament the other day.
Yeah, but you've just said it, Doctor, that you are divided as an organization. Perhaps that is a symptom of that division. Is there any hope that you'll be able to arrest the situation? And South Africans are starting to walk away from you. We're just looking at the by-elections. Yes, you may have won them, but everywhere you declined.
Well, I have got confidence that the ANC still has the capacity to turn itself around. It's not going to be an easy process. It's not going to even be a year or 2 years process. It's going to be a long process. What is important is the leadership that must emerge out of this conference. Is it really committed to dealing with? Because what do our people want? A better life for all, as the ANC itself has said. So what we need an organization that's just going to drive, to change our economy, to begin to create jobs and other opportunities for sustainable livelihoods.
Thank you very much, Dr. Nzimande. Well, that is the NEC member or the Minister of Higher Education, depending on the role you want to place him. But of course, he is basically saying those who voted against the party line, so we're quite disciplined. So yeah, quite interesting. And we had Meta Ndimodisa basically saying, well, she doesn't want to say she's disappointed, but you can see that she is.
Mzwandile Mbeje, thank you very much for bringing us some of the, some of the color and some of the things that are happening in between the margins at that gala dinner.